There's a lot of great things happening at Tennessee Athletics.
I believe this city is going to be upside down tonight.
Season-long party continues on Rocky Top.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Everything Orange podcast. It's officially November, y'all, which means basketball season is upon us. And with that being said, I think you can figure out where this podcast is going this week. Prior to coming to Tennessee, she finished the 2022-23 season with honors such as ACC All-Tournament Team and All-ACC Second Team. Then when she decided to enter the transfer portal, she basically had her pick at where she wanted to go. And ultimately, the number 4 ESPN-rated transfer landed on Rocky Top. She brings a lot of talent, experience, and leadership this year to the Lady Vols, and I know that this fan base is just absolutely going to welcome her with open arms, especially after listening to this podcast. So with that being said, please welcome to the Everything Orange podcast, Jewel Spear. Jewel Spear, thank you so much for joining me on this episode of the podcast today.
Thank you for having me.
So before I even get into your background, I want to ask where the name Jewel came from, because I hear your dad had a unique story in naming you.
Yes, so my dad was an alpha at FAM, Florida A&M, who was actually our first game of the season, which is also exciting.
Yeah.
And I don't know the whole background, but I just know he kind of got my name from his fraternity.
Yes, because a jewel is like very sacred to their fraternity, and he immediately knew that he wanted to name you that, which I thought was so cool when I was reading an article about you. I was like,
Yes.
I gotta ask about that. So can you give me a little bit of background about yourself growing up with your mom and your dad, your two brothers, you're sandwiched in the middle between the two of them. What was it like growing up in Texas?
Growing up in Texas was exciting. I would say very competitive. I have an older brother who's actually playing overseas in Italy right now.
Oh, wow.
Playing basketball. And then I have a younger brother who's a sophomore in high school who also plays basketball. So sports kind of ran in our family. My little brother, we kind of have an argument now is if he's the best one or if he's going to be the best one, just because he's been around the sport a long time.
Okay.
But growing up around two brothers, it's made me, I'd say, tough in a sense, but also just knowing that we have a close bond and they're always protecting me since I'm the only girl.
Yeah, definitely. I grew up an only child, so I never got to know that feeling, but I always wanted a brother, not even a sister. I just always wanted a brother to grow up with, because I felt like, especially an older brother, they just, have your back all the time.
Protective.
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. So your mom grew up playing basketball, and your dad went to West Virginia to play basketball too. So it's safe to say basketball runs pretty deep in your family, but they didn't just pigeonhole you in basketball. You grew up playing all different kinds of sports.
Yes, so I grew up playing softball. I ran track. I also did competitive swimming. So
Okay.
I was around everything. So like my mom, when I go home for the summer, she advises that I do, swimming to help my conditioning, just to give my body just a little bit more, relaxation instead of running on, hard surfaces and stuff like that, since I do that a lot with basketball.
Yeah, I grew up swimming too, and I feel like the one thing I loved about it was just you could get a full body workout, and it was, like you said, very relaxing. I feel like for me, I got pretty bored sometimes though in the water, because you can't listen to music and you can't banter with your teammates. You're just alone in the lane by yourself. So I got a little bored sometimes in practice.
It's definitely different, but I'd say it's peaceful in the sense that
Agreed.
Basketball, you're always hearing talking, you're always communicating, but with swimming, you can kind of just have your alone time, mentally, and just being able to think through things, control your breathing, and help that.
No, definitely. Compared to what you have to do on the daily, it's probably refreshing to have
Yes.
that me time. Yes, exactly. What was your favorite that you played outside of basketball growing up?
Definitely softball.
Okay.
If I didn't play basketball, I'd probably play softball, because I played shortstop growing up. I really liked being in the field. I know a lot of softball players like offense, just like basketball players, they like hitting. But I would say I really liked playing shortstop, being active, making plays for my team, and just being a leader on the field.
Yeah, well, you've got an exciting spring then coming up, because obviously we have a super talented softball team, and I know you love supporting all of the athletics here, so it'll be so fun to see you at some games in the spring. Let's talk a little bit about your journey to Tennessee, because when you entered the transfer portal, you had basically your pick at where you wanted to go. So many schools reached out to you immediately. What stood out to you at Tennessee that made you want to commit to being a Lady Vol so quickly?
Yeah, it's a funny story. So like you said, a lot of schools reached out, and I was kind of just letting my phone ring at first because it was kind of overwhelming. And then I called my dad, and I'm like, Dad, Coach Kelly called from Tennessee. What do you think? Because I just like to give my dad and my family's insight. And my dad's like, I'm not really surprised. He's like, Jordan Horston, just a very great player, just graduated, and they're going to need, a scorer, a wing player. And I was like, okay, I can see myself fitting there. And then as I started talking with Coach Kelly a little bit more, I just started feeling like she was like, obviously she's a mom. She has, 2 children, but you could feel that when she was talking to you, just knowing that she cares for you off the court, but also like the culture here at Tennessee is different. I wanted to play at a bigger stage, bigger environment. Coming from a little bit smaller school, that I'm thankful that I went to at Wake Forest that prepared me for this. But I really do think that Tennessee is the place to be, and I'm excited to get started.
And then before you even got here, you had a super fun summer. First, you went to the foreign tour in Italy and Greece with the Lady Vols. And then as soon as you got back, you and Ria had to jump on another plane to go compete and practice in the 2023 Women's FIBA AmeriCup. So what out of those experiences this summer did you enjoy the most? What memories do you have from them?
I enjoyed everything, honestly. It was very helpful, being a first-time transfer, going to a new school, new environment. You have to kind of just understand new players and new people, learn how they are off the court as well as on the court. And I think going to Italy, Greece, and having that experience was so exciting because I was able to, connect with Ria, not only in Italy and Greece, but also in Mexico when we went to USA. So that kind of helped us bond off the court, which has helped us on the court as well. But just, learning about the new transfers with Destiny, Avery, Talasia, and seeing how they are, seeing how they're doing, how we're both in this, system, in this process together and just feeding off each other.
What was your favorite memory that you have being in Europe on the trip with the team?
I'd probably say Capri. We had a private boat tour, so just seeing like the beautiful water. The water is very beautiful there. So seeing
crystal
that
clear, a little different
crystal
here.
clear for sure. And then seeing like the rocks and everything, and then just being with my teammates, like I said, and enjoying that time together.
What'd you think of the food?
The food was different, but it was good. Like I remember when we were in when we were in Italy, I remember like the spaghetti being really, really fresh.
Yes.
And the portion sizes were smaller, so I had to get 2.
Okay.
But it was still really good.
I feel like the thing about Italy, because I went over there, I studied abroad there when I was in college. You can eat as much pizza and pasta that you want, and you don't feel nearly as full or weighed down that you do here when you eat it.
And another thing I had to adjust to is like the time you get your food. Like we're always like this here in America, like we want our food now, but over there they kind of take their time.
Yes.
So you just have to have patience, which I struggle with at times, as people know, but I mean, it was good at the end. So
And no ice in their water, right?
No, I'm an ice person
too.
I know Jill on our team, she literally orders any drink with no ice, and I just can't do it.
No.
I have to have ice. I need my beverage cold.
Yes, especially in the summer. Like you're walking around, you're doing all these tours. Like I just want a refreshing glass of water, and you can't get the ice.
It's just warm water, and you just have to enjoy it.
Yep, you gotta learn to like it. We talked about Ria Jackson, somebody that you created a close relationship with very quickly. Having somebody like her in your corner, having gone through the same thing that you're going through right now just a year prior, what's it meant like to have that relationship with her and have her support?
Yeah, it means the world. I remember at USA Trials in Colorado, we were actually roommates, and I picked her brain, like, why she chose Tennessee. And it was kind of similar reasons for me, so I knew, like, if I ever had any questions or anything I needed to ask her about, I could. She's like a big sister for real, role model. So just, being on the court with her, but also off the court, just our bond, how it's growing in such short time is really special.
And then before you got here, Coach Harper told you that Tennessee is an everything school. And that was something that really excited you. You wanted to be there to support all of your fellow student athletes here. I've seen you at soccer games. You've been at packed out Neyland stadiums. You've been to volleyball, multiple games. How fun has it been for you to immerse yourself in all of Tennessee athletics and be able to create these relationships outside of women's basketball?
Yeah, I think it just comes from my upbringing, like coming from a smaller town, the Colony, Texas, which not a lot of people hear of. we really just prided ourselves on supporting each other. So going to volleyball games, going to softball, baseball. So just, when you're in a community, you always want people to support you. So why not support other people? So that's what I believe in. And I know like a few of my teammates have been doing the same thing, going to volleyball games, going to soccer games. And it's just really cool to see like your fellow student athletes like supporting each other. And I know that's been special. Our volleyball team's really good. Our soccer team, like you said, it's everything's school. So I just hope people support us too.
Oh, I'm sure they will return the favor. I mean, everybody is so excited to see you guys like compete this year. You obviously share the love with everybody else, so I'm sure they will return the favor for you guys. Kicking off your first season as a Lady Vol, repping the Summit Blue, carrying on the Lady Vol legacy, what are you most excited about getting inside of TBA at the Food City Center and just going out there and playing this year?
I'd say seeing the fans. I keep hearing like the fans are going to be like crazy in a good way, like exciting, like they're gonna come early to the games, they're gonna support you. And I feel like I've already felt that like going around to other games, like seeing how the community comes together to support the Lady Vols. So I'm excited to see that, like when I first hit the court, just looking in the crowd and seeing everybody sitting there cheering.
It'll be a very surreal moment for you. I feel like a lot of people, even when they aren't on Tennessee's bench, when they come and play in here, they get that same feeling too, like wow, like seeing the growth of women's sports, seeing people show out for women's basketball, it's got to be just the best feeling.
It is the best, and it's definitely on the rise.
I just thought of this too, like the Iowa women's basketball game being played in their football stadium, seeing them set the attendance record for a college women's basketball game, over 55,000 people in attendance. How cool was that to see?
Yeah, it was really cool. I actually texted Caitlin because I actually know Caitlin because we played together. I think it's like 2-3 years ago on the USA team when we won gold. So I texted her and I was like, congrats, like you're doing you, like, you know what I mean? So just supporting her, knowing what she's doing at Iowa and her teammates are, inspiring for women's sports and people all over the world. You have another year of eligibility left this season. I know we said that you're not quite ready to make a decision. You're just still, taking every day by day. But you also have aspirations of going into sports broadcasting. So what excites you about both of those potential opportunities? That's another reason why I came to Tennessee, just knowing, Tamika Catchings, Candace Parker, Andrea Carter. And so forth, like just, famous legends, names, those names came across when I heard Tennessee, and knowing that they were able to play, women's basketball here and then also be successful with sports broadcasting. So that's something I want to do. I always want to stay around the sport like I have been when I grew up with my, my little brother and my older brother. I love any sport. That's why I kind of go to all of it. So just trying to learn about different sports other than just basketball, but also like trying to be a sports broadcaster in basketball. Yeah, I think Andrea Carter really launched after she was here at Tennessee. I mean, she's breaking down all these barriers, doing NBA draft, doing WNBA finals. She even does beach volleyball, football, men's basketball. She is everywhere. And I'm for someone who is also interested in sports broadcasting and pursuing a career in that field, she is just somebody that is a role model and a mentor to look up to. Yeah, I definitely agree. It was another story I have is growing up, I went to a lot of basketball camps, and she was at one of the basketball camps I had grown up in Texas, in Austin. It was Elite is Earned. So that was a very cool camp, and hearing her story, why she was playing basketball and what her next steps were, and just how you should cherish basketball. Don't take anything for granted because you never know what can happen. Yeah. So she is an inspiration for me, just not only on the court, but seeing what she's doing off the court right now. Yeah, it's huge. And then the WNBA is also some aspirations that you have as well. What have you learned already so far being here at Tennessee about how you can continue to progress in your game and hopefully take it to the next level? Yeah, I've learned a lot here at Tennessee. Being around the game for a while, I'm still learning, which is, you don't think you can continuously learning after playing basketball since you're 5 years old, but I am. I don't know everything. So I do listen to my coaches. I think, just knowing at this level, everyone can score the basketball. So, what's going to separate you, whether that's defense or, hustle plays. So knowing that people know my game, but how am I going to, develop my game even more to be successful in the WNBA? Yeah. You mentioned Jordan Horston, too. She's obviously somebody that was just cherished here at Tennessee during her time. The fans loved her teammates loved her. How have you seen her success in the WNBA, and also how's that
been like for you to see like that it is possible? She just did it.
Yeah, I've talked to her a few times. I wouldn't say I'm like really close to her, but I have watched, Seattle play.
Yeah.
When we went to Atlanta, got to see her play in person. She was very good that game as
Yes.
well. She made the all-rookie team. So just seeing like what she was able to do coming from Tennessee, it just shows you like what people coming from here can do.
Yes, it's possible. And talk a little bit too about Coach Kelly Harper and just how, I've had the privilege of meeting her, but she just cares for you guys just as much as athletes as she does off the court. So what's it been like, creating that relationship with her and all that she's done for you guys?
Yeah, it's been special. She's had us over to her house a couple of times, which is beautiful. So just, spending time with her at, her environment, like where she's most comfortable, and picking her brain, not only like on the court, but seeing how she is off the court. Like I said, she's a mother, so she has 2 of her own children, but she also has us as children too. Yeah. So she also cares for us. And I would say that she's very competitive. Like when we have recruits here, we have to sit in like the recruit section for the football games, and you can just see like how much passion she has for Tennessee. So knowing like a coach that has that much passion, she played here and now she's coaching here, it just shows you like what she's willing to do for Tennessee, and it kind of just motivates us to do even better.
I was on the sidelines for one of the football games, and I think a touchdown had just happened at the end zone that I was standing near, and somebody behind me is just screaming, going crazy, and I turned around, Coach Harper.
Yep, that's her.
You gotta just love her energy and how much she loves every facet of the school.
She does.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So now I want to transition into our little bit more of a fun section so people can get to know you a little bit better just outside of your sport.
Okay.
When I was talking to your teammates, they told me I need to know 3 things about you. You love making TikTok dance videos. Yes. You tell really corny jokes.
What? Corny is crazy. Corny is crazy. I need to know who said that because corny is crazy.
I keep my confidants a secret, but I won't tattletale on them. And then lastly, that Rod Wave is your favorite artist.
I love Rod Wave so much. So, that's true.
So the game that we're gonna play is you're gonna finish the lyrics. I'm testing your knowledge.
Finish the lyrics?
Yes.
No, you can't put me on the spot.
I'm testing your knowledge. Okay.
No, this might be bad.
No, you should. I picked out some good ones. I feel like you're gonna know them.
This might be bad, yo.
Okay. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. If it wasn't for favors, they'll never call you. Sometimes I need someone to talk to. Sometimes this life can be confusing. Call your friends and ask how they're doing.
I'm coolin'.
Yeah.
Most days I just be coolin'. Yes.
Yes.
That's check. That's one check.
There we go. 1 for 1. See, you're doing good.
Okay.
On the road, halfway home. Sorry, my friend. I don't want to be alone again. So I'll be gone till November. Go and mark your calendar. Phone keep ringing. Heart keep breaking.
That's definitely from Gone Till November.
Yes, exactly. There we go. 2 for 2. Moving up. Okay, this is from his first album.
Oh.
I know. Hunger Games 2, first album.
This might be hard.
Okay. Told me get 'em, I got 'em, whoa. Told me get 'em, I got 'em, whoa. Straight from the bottom, and now we way, way up. Mo money, mo problems. And now we way, way up.
Ooh. It's definitely way, way up.
There she goes.
3 for 3.
Okay, I know you're gonna know this one. I don't even need
Are
to
you sure?
Yes, I don't even need to get like more than 3 or 4 words into this. Harper broke
So many times I don't know what to believe.
Yeah.
Mama say it's my fault. It's my fault with my heart on my sleeve. Yeah. Just so y'all know, no one can outdo me in Rod Wave songs or lyrics.
They can't. What is your Spotify rap? Are you like #1 Rod Wave?
Definitely number 1 Rod Wave.
You gotta be. You're like in that 1 percentile that is like the most listened to. I believe it.
Yes, he's going to Nashville and Charlotte, but not Knoxville. No. So I need him to come to Knoxville.
Okay, this is our plea, our public plea. Rod Wave, please make a trip out to Knoxville so your #1 fan, Jewel Spear, can see you.
Please.
Thank you. Okay, last question I have for you, Jewel, before you can get on out of here is this question that I ask everybody when they come on this podcast. When you sing Rocky Top, do you woo?
You have to.
You have to, hands down.
Have to.
Okay.
Or it's or it's not a part of the song. Like you're missing a lyric. And your favorite song, if you miss the lyric, you're not really singing a song. So
Exactly. Fair enough. That's all you have to say. Well, Jewel, thank you so much for coming on this podcast with me. I've said it before, but I just feel like you have been a part of this Lady Vol family for so long, and we are just so excited to see all that you guys do this upcoming season.
thank you. I'm excited.
Thanks so much, you guys, for listening to this episode of Everything Orange. As always, be sure to follow us on all of our Vol Sports platforms so you don't miss out on a single update. But before we go, here's a look at everything going on with Tennessee athletics this upcoming week. Unfortunately, there's nothing happening on the calendar tonight, but tomorrow we have some exciting events to look forward to. At 11 a.m. in Allen Jones Intercollegiate Aquatic Center, the swimming and diving team hosts the Kentucky Wildcats and the Florida Gators in a huge home meet. Y'all, if you're in town and looking for a good sporting event to check out, I highly, highly, highly recommend stopping over there. Then on the road, cross country competes in the Hokie Open at Virginia Tech, while men's tennis starts competition in the Hagedorn Hidden Duel in San Diego, California. Lastly, you can check out the Lady Vol volleyball team taking on the Florida Gators in Gainesville at 7 p.m. Saturday is homecoming on Rocky Top as the Vols take on UConn at noon in Neyland Stadium. And you guys, I already checked the weather and the high says 68. So it's just going to be an absolutely beautiful fall day to enjoy some Tennessee football. Then on Sunday, it's a first for the Lady Vols Basketball team as they take on USA's women's national team in an exhibition matchup at 6 p.m. in Food City Center. Monday, men's tennis starts its week-long Knoxville Challenger here at home in the Good Friend Tennis Center, while in the evening, men's basketball takes on Tennessee Tech at 6:30 in the Food City Center. Lastly, on Tuesday, women's basketball takes on Florida A&M at 6:30. Well, that's a wrap on Rocky Top. Tune in next Thursday for another episode of Everything Orange. Bye, y'all.